So you mentioned channels and so on and so forth. And obviously there's a lot of channels: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, podcasting, your website, email, and then publishers, Medium, blah, blah, blah. Let's just say you have a small team, right? There's maybe 10 people in your business. And you are looking to grow a following, maybe influence a market, raise awareness of your product, service, etc. If there was one channel that you would personally recommend to hedge your bets on, in other words, forget all the others, just do this one, what would that channel be for you?
Yeah, I typically don't answer the question that way. I will give you an answer, but I want to kind of preface with, it really depends on the business. I always start with, what's the business strategy? What are we really trying to achieve? What is our product? What is our service? What are the types of leads that we need? And then I look at the resources that we have. What are the resources that we have to create content? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? And then make a determination on what's the best platform. With that said, is one of the things that we talk about is the value of a view on and a follower on TikTok or Instagram versus a subscriber or viewer on YouTube. Like, it's 10x more valuable on YouTube because of the length of time that they spend with your brand. Now, YouTube's a lot harder because it's longer form content. Yes, they have YouTube Shorts, but it's a relatively new thing. So if I had to say, let's invest in one, I would say YouTube. But with that said, there's so many other variables at play to make that informed decision. Like TikTok, there's amazing growth potential now. But again, is it relevant to our business goals? Are we going to be able to really convey our value to the core audience that we're trying to attract in a short form TikTok video or an Instagram reel?
Yeah, I love the point there around strategy, because I think there's a fallacy about you have to be everywhere to be successful. And I think it actually causes a lot of marketing orientated founders when they feel like they need to be everywhere, because if you're everywhere and you don't have a team to support an everywhere strategy, you can wind up spreading yourself thin and doing a relatively crappy job at being everywhere. When if you just chose LinkedIn as an example, it's a business audience, and you could focus your attention, if you were in the B2B space, on LinkedIn, and you could, my sense would be is that you would produce a better content and brand experience if you chose not to be everywhere. Would you agree with that?
I agree 100%. Now, I will say in full transparency, like if we're working with a client that's focused on TikTok, we say, we'll take that asset and upload it to Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts and see what happens. Don't expect a lot, but if you're creating that asset, that short form asset, it takes you 10 minutes to upload it to those other platforms, but focus on worrying about the data of TikTok, the references with TikTok, and studying that market. But I agree with you 100%. And it was interesting, I was listening to an interview with Jonathan Ive, who worked for Steve Jobs, and he was asked, what was the main thing that he taught you? And he said, or the most valuable thing he taught you, and it was focus. And he said, Steve would always ask me every day, what did you say no to today? And Jonathan would say, he would have all these sacrificial things and said, well, I said no to this, I said no to this, I said no to this. And Steve's like, no, these are all things you don't want to do. What were the things that you did want to do and say no to? And it's a very hard thing to do, especially as an entrepreneur with creative energy and like the drive to succeed, to really narrow in and say, I'm going to focus on this specific area and I'm going to ignore the rest.
Yeah, it takes balls to make that decision, to choose, because I think, you define yourself by what you say no to more than what you say yes to.
100%.